Okay, last Instagram question for you is a Tony Vitello question. We haven't really gotten to talk about it, so I appreciate Aiden Herforth bringing this up on Instagram. I know it happened a little bit ago, but can you guys share your thoughts on Buster Posey taking a crazy chance on Tony Vitello and how Bochy and Dusty Baker can help as advisors? If you missed it, Bruce Bochy is back in the organization as a special assistant. Dusty Baker has his toes in the organization as well. You have two Hall of Fame level managers that are overseeing the first guy ever to jump into a major league manager role without any previous coaching experience at the professional level. Tony Vitello won a national title at Tennessee. He jumps from being the head coach at the University of Tennessee and dealing with NIL and the transfer portal to dealing with Rafi Devers and Logan Webb. It is an amazing jump. It is such a ballsy jump from the San Francisco Giants. It is so gutsy from Buster Posey. And I've talked to you about this via FaceTime, via phone call, via text. And I just don't think we've ever really had the opportunity to talk about it on the pod because there was that whole World Series thing going on.
Yeah.
I freaking love this hire. I love that they're taking this risk. Walt Weiss in Atlanta, is that fun? Is that winning Acuna back over? I look at these two and I gravitate towards San Francisco hiring Tony Vitello. I gravitate towards Washington hiring a 33-year-old Blake Butera. Get fun, get young, get closer to these guys. And this is the closest that a team has gotten to these guys.
Well, and I think there's a new normal here, right, in terms of how what a manager's job description is. And I think more than ever, the manager's job description is less about putting the best lineup together every single day and more about keeping the team together every single day and kind of leading, a group of young men and keeping them bought in and having the trust and all those different things and really being the liaison between players and front office. Like they got to wear a lot of the player frustration. Like if a player is not playing, and he's got an issue with it, the player's not going to the GM and saying, why am I not playing? But the manager's usually not the one making that decision. Yet he's going to go to the manager's office and talk about it. So that's the new norm in the role. And it's funny. It goes back to Moneyball in the conversation we're having. You remember that's kind of the beginning of that disconnect, but now it's been streamlined where it's GM acquires a guy, wants him to play. Manager says, no, I like this guy better. That doesn't really happen anymore. It doesn't exist. So I think when you have a college coach here, that is the biggest part of the job, I think, is leading even younger men that have even less direction and things like that. I think it's an interesting shot to take. I would be a little bit nervous if it was him in Washington with nobody else maybe involved, no Dusty, no Bochy. I really like it when you have the mentors to complement. You have a Buster Posey to complement, and you have a guy that also in Vitello that can provide a perspective that maybe Bochy and Dusty don't have. And I think that's the really cool part of it, but also compensate for the lack of experience that Vitello has, at the big league level. So I do feel like this is a perfect scenario to take this shot as well between Posey, the two Hall of Fame managers, and the situation at hand there. I think it wouldn't have been an equal hire in a different situation. I think this is a perfect landing spot to try this thing with a college coach.
Yes, and I think Tony Vitello is going to feel almost feel zero hesitance to reach out to a Bruce Bochy and a Dusty Baker. Frankly, that's what they're there for, and I guarantee you, Bochy looked at this and said, I have the opportunity to be kind of a manager's manager. I get to coach up a manager. That's better than any managerial opportunity I'm going to have right now. I have no idea what Bochy's pursuit of another big league manager role looked like this offseason after he and Texas parted ways. I have no idea if he was a real candidate for San Diego or any other team. The Rockies, I think, are the only team without that manager seat filled right now. But that's a Paul DePodesta problem. So I just look at Bochy salivating at this and him saying yes because he wanted to be the mentor to Tony Vitello and Dusty Baker being willing to mentor Tony Vitello. So if you told me that I could learn quarterback in the NFL and Tom Brady was a part owner, I want to play for the Raiders. That's my cross sport equivalent of this.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the end of the day, the Raiders aren't very good right now. At the end of the day, the roster is the most important part, right? So
Yeah.
and that's the big thing. Roster looks pretty good. I think it's a nice piece to add here into like a new, I think, I don't want to say new era, but like the Posey era, and just kind of creating a different feel to everything that's going on there. He's made his kind of stamped trade. He's made some moves, and now this is kind of his stamped hiring. And I think it's a fun approach to take from a guy that is a Hall of Fame caliber player that has played for a legendary manager, saying, no, I think this is actually a good shot to take here. And I think that
Yeah.
says a lot, because I don't think Posey's the kind of guy that's just going to try to be different and get cute with it. Like, there was, I'm sure, a lot of sound logic behind this.
Absolutely.